Anyway, my name is Rukia. Call me Rukia. So I'm a senior program manager for Big Brother Big Sisters, and the reason I say that is my topic is connected to my position at Big Brother Big Sisters. So it was like about eight years ago. I went back to grad school, and I was supposed to do internship, and somehow they placed me at Big Brother Big Sisters of National Capital Area, where I started working with. My boss was Miss Denise Williams. She was my director program. So the second semester of my grad school, I was hired by a fellow female, which I'm so happy and honored. I'll always be grateful to her for that. However, that was just part of my story because I realized I never thought I could be a social worker, although my degree was in business. But then quickly I became a social worker. So I work with the very high risk students in Washington, D.C. And part of that, I've learned a lot of these children, they have a lot of issues, and mostly because their mothers, they are subjecting themselves to a lot of violence. And when Jessica said this is going to be the topic, I was also like Felicia, I was confused. I was like, violence against women? I was like, okay. I did not know what to start, but then I figured I'm going to somehow put it in everything together, somewhat to make sense. My only topic here, my encourage to you is every woman who is here, I want you guys to become mentors. I want you to mentor a fellow woman. I want to mentor a child, because from my job I do, mentoring does work plenty. I've seen miracles from the children who were on statistics to die, to be shot at, to drop out of school. The minute you identify this child is at high risk, you identify another male or another female who is going to be a role model, a mentor in their lives, and quickly their life change like 360 degrees. So a little bit of my story about violence, I'm going to make it personal. When I was 7 years old, I was at my aunt's house, and my neighbor, so I went to play to the neighbor's house, and I was raped at a very young age. And my parents, who were well-to-do, they did everything for me to forget. I never forgot. And each time I tried to talk about it, they'll be like, oh, don't worry, it never happened. Well, finally, they came to accept that it did happen. So what I wanted to say, so one day I went to church and I was like, I've been holding this on my back for like 40 years. It's time for me to let the person who hurt me and forgive him. So I went to church in front of like 50 people. I said, I've been holding this secret for so many years, and today I'm going to take my life back, and I'm going to forgive this person. And not because I want him to have a daily life or whatever, but I just want to take my life, and I'm going to use my experience to speak. Speak up, women. If you know somebody's being abused, don't go call another person and say, oh yeah, she was molested. No, you get her help, and very quickly so. If you hear somebody has a lot of story about she's being abused by her father or her mother or her boyfriend, you give the resources. You say, you know what, you can go to this there are so many resources, especially here in Washington, D.C. And even if in Tanzania, you tell them to leave this husband, she will do just fine by themselves instead of subjecting themselves to torture or violence that is directed to them or to their children. So what I'm telling you is we can make a difference. I'm so happy you talk about Me Too movement. I was so happy when this Me Too movement, I was like, oh, so Rukia is not alone. Oh, power to us. But what surprised me when I went to church that day, the pastor's wife came to me and whispered to me and said, Rukia, this happened to me. And all along I was going to that church, I could see her there, and I was like, well, I wish my life was so perfect like her. I felt so bad. That's the time I said, you know what, I'm not going to be hypocrite anymore. I am not. I refuse to be hypocrite, because that woman was sitting there and said, you know what, since I was the age of 12 until the age of 18, my own brother was sexually molesting me. You are a pastor's wife. I stood there. It took me a lot of guts after all this year to stand there and say that somebody, did this to me. People listen to you. You should speak up. Instead, you come to me in my ears when I was out of church and tell me that, oh, this is the same thing happened to me. So women, it's time for you to speak up. And I mean speak up. Join the movement. And if you know somebody is being molested, is being hurt, speak up. Speak up on behalf. Become a mentor to a woman. Become a mentor to a child. Mentoring do work. It's time for us to end all kind of violence to our girls, our women. I had a little story last week at my job where one of the mothers, the social worker went to her house because the child is 13. She has a baby. The baby is 13. According to the mother, this girl was pregnated by another boy who is 13. We don't know that story yet, who is telling the truth. However, so there was a violence like a week later. And then the police came, and then the mother has 9 kids. And the police said, this man in your house, your boyfriend, cannot be in this house because he's beating up these other girls. So you know what mother chose? Mother chose the boyfriend over the 2 girls who were reported. So the 2 girls were removed and were placed under foster home. And the mother chose the boyfriend who is beating up on her kids, but because she said she doesn't have anywhere to go. So all we can do here as a family, as you can say that, you can tell them you can have a family shelter. You can go under the bridge. I would rather be under the bridge with my kids than being with a man who is molesting me or abusing my children. So we can do something. We can do. You can mentor a child. You can talk to them. You can provide financial, emotional support. It doesn't have to be financial. You can just to talk to somebody is a lot. It makes a lot of difference. And I will tell you how I went to that church and I said that I'm going to take my life back. Because a day before I was at my office and a girl, I was supervising this intern from University of Maryland, and she said there she hates her father. And then she started to tell me that how when she lived in Jamaica, she used to go to the guy used to tutor them, her and her sister. And they started, the teacher, started molesting those 2 girls from the age of 8 to the age of 12. And each time they tried to talk their father said, oh, you be quiet. You are trying to respond, to mess up this guy's respect. And the guy, of course, had so much power. So I stood there, and that girl, she was like 19 or 20 years old. She was crying so hard how much she hates her father. And I did not say anything. I did not say, I said, so sorry that happened to you, but you see, this is your father, you don't need to talk to. But I said there as if my life was perfect, which was not. So eventually, I felt so bad, and that's how I say, you know what? I'm going to take my life back. I'm going to be speaking up. I will not be ashamed. The person who had me at the age of 7, I did not do that to myself. He did it because he was evil. We need to stop these people from being evil. Thank you very much. Become a mentor, and we'll see you.